Hello there. There you are. Lovely to have your company. It is Business Connections Live. It is week number 74. It's the first of our brand new programs here on a Monday at midday. Strange, you know, we actually had a bit of a discussion about it. Is it 12 p.m. or is it 12 a.m. when it's midday? And if you go online, there is all sorts of confusion. Apparently, since digital clocks came in, people aren't certain whether it's 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. So we went with midday, and it's as straightforward and simple as that. With me today is our lovely guest, is Debbie Huxton, a business and executive coach who is in demand as an inspirational and motivational speaker. You do all sorts of different things, don't you?
I do.
And it's lovely to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
This is your is it your second or third time on the programme?
So it's my second time on the show, here in the studio, but we've had little chats.
We've had a few chats, haven't we, in the
exhibitions
past.
We've met at.
Now, a lot of people know you for the Book of Wisdom, the Little Book of Wisdom.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's what everybody knows. Your branding is red. The book is brilliant. You brought the Debbie Huxton's calendar of big wisdom. We can't show you November.
Well, we can.
Well, we could.
Hey.
We could. And you know, who would care? People would just, you know, you may be offended, but I tell you what, it's a great, great idea. Fantastic idea. Debbie, if you had to sum up what you do, what would you say you do? So
I'm a life changer. I work with business owners up and down the UK, helping them create a life and business that they absolutely love. Clearing the chaos, helping them focus. Who have you worked with that we might know? So I've worked with Brad Burton. I'm his head coach, helping him stay sane. The likes of Richard Eaton, the app man, the lovely Josh Pearce, and many other people. One of the loveliest things I did recently was I was flown up to Scotland to William Grant's and worked with their PA network at their Glenfiddich distillery. So that was a fantastic opportunity. Yeah. So what is it you actually do when you do it? What is it that you impart to these people? For instance, Josh, when he came in, he said, Debbie Huxton, she's my mentor, you know. And he's sung your praises about how you kind of channeled him and you made him, you know, target on what he was trying to achieve. But what is it you feel that you're giving to businesses when you see them? So in business, you know, lots of people are running busy messes. You know, we say a business, but it's really a busy mess. They've got chaos going on, overwhelm, life experiences have got in the way, they're making poor decisions. You know, I was definitely victim to that at one point. So I've taken all of my wisdom, really, put it together in a package, and that's what I'm doing. I'm sitting down with people, helping them understand more about themselves, because fundamentally you cannot build a business if you are not right. You know, people will build businesses, but they can get to a level in their business where they're not sustaining the business because they're not right. And what kind of can you give us an example of what you've seen? I mean, no names, no pack drill, but you've gone into a business. What's the typical scenario when you walk in there? So a majority of people, well, I'd say all of my clients and anyone that works with me, any of the events that people come to, you know, they find themselves out of focus, they've got a lack of clarity, their confidence is slipping, their self-esteem has taken a knocking, their business plan just doesn't seem on point, they have just got complete overwhelm, they want balance in their life, they haven't got balance, and it's a mess. All right then, Debbie Huxton, what's your background? How come I can invite you in to actually talk to me about all this? What is it that gives you the skills to do what you're doing? Apart from the qualifications that I have, which are so first and foremost, I was a trained nurse, so I have a so if it gets really bad, then you can give mouth-to-mouth resuscitation without getting emotionally How did
involved.
I know you were going to say that? So that's the sort of last part of the, you know, if we can't get anywhere, then we're going for that. But behave. Right. So what were we saying?
We were saying about how you got into it. You said you're a trained nurse, that's one of your skills.
So I was a trained nurse, and I've got a Bachelor of Nursing, and my honours part was in stress management. And then from there, when I left nursing to go into the business arena, I have all sorts of qualifications. I'm NLP trained, I have a behavioural certification, coaching certificate. You can go onto my LinkedIn profile and see all of that. But beyond that, what I bring to the table is almost 47 years of experience and learning. And that's what's so important, isn't it? Because I think there are people actually that can come into this area and they can
with that kind of experience, this is life experience. This is probably the most valuable. You can't get life experience in books, courses, or anything like that. You can only get it from actually living it.
Yeah, and I actually, you know, it's not about talking the talk. Anyone can teach a course. I truly believe I walk the walk. You know, any of my clients will tell you that if I'm asking them to do something, it's because I'm doing it. It's because it's working. It's because I can tell you from actual experiential benefit that it will work, because it's worked for me, it's working for me.
What's the biggest mistake, do you think, do you see businesses making? I mean, we've talked about the individuals, and they tend to, you know, they can be just weighed down by the weight of what they're trying to achieve. And you mentioned about focus, but what is for the business? What do you think the biggest problems that they have?
I think for small business owners in particularly, it's underestimating, one, their value, but two, their true potential. You know, I see people, I meet them, and I can see their potential, I can hear their potential, and they don't see or believe it in themselves. So it's first and foremost about the belief that A, they can do it, and B, that they can make a success of their business.
Do you think there are quick fixes when you go into businesses? Can you do something quickly to turn it round? Can you give somebody a bit of advice that they go, that really helps? Can that happen, or is it a case of it takes time?
Do you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to eradicate that word quick fix. You can do things. Okay, let's eradicate the two words quick fix, because I think that that's led to where we are at this moment in time, microwave mentality. To build a sustainable business, it takes time and it takes effort, and there are no shortcuts. To develop yourself, it takes time and it takes consistent effort. There are no shortcuts. There are things that I can teach people to do that will help them move on quicker, but I'd rather eradicate the word quick fixes. You can't put a plaster on something, because 9 times out of 10 it's something that will turn into gangrene.
That's a nice analogy. We like that one there. Thank you very much, albeit somewhat disgusting, but a nice analogy nevertheless. We do like that. Okay, so somebody like Josh, who came to see, now Josh, as we said, he sang your praises. Richard sang your praises, so many different people do. In fact, what was interesting, over the past 6 months, your name keeps popping up. Different people, you know, have been saying, oh yeah, Debbie Huxton, she's a mentor. Debbie Huxton, she did. With somebody like Josh, and I don't want to be too specific with it, but what kind of advice would you have given him when you met him? A young man, entrepreneurial, enthusiastic in what he was doing. What was the kind of advice you would give someone like that?
So with Josh, it's exactly the same as all my clients. It's not even age related. You know, this is the big thing that I teach, regardless of age, regardless of gender, regardless of level of success. It's the same fundamental principles. And one of the things we have, when we have that entrepreneurial spirit that he has, and all of the business owners have that I work with, it's that focus. They get so creative, they're great starters, but they're not great finishers. And I was certainly guilty of that myself. And it's almost like we see, oh, new shiny things, new projects, there's all these things going on. And it's never actually getting a project finished, and that's where the overwhelm comes from. So with Josh, it was just like all of them, it was taking what they have and focusing it, really channeling it.
All right, well listen, we're going to go into more detail about it over the next 50 minutes or so. What we are going to do though, we are going to look back at last week's program. Before that though, a quickie for you right now. If you want to tweet Debbie, you can do that. We've got I think we've got it all working. We've got our tweet feed coming up. Let's see if something might come up on the screen right now. All right then, so it won't just for the second, but no worry, we'll move smartly on. But you will be able to tweet in to Debbie simply by, well, tweeting us at Business Connect 6. I know it's a horrible tweet name. We are going to change it, but you can do that right now, and you'll actually get a question to Debbie today if you want to ask her a question simply by tweeting her, or if you just like the program and you want to make a comment on what she is actually saying, then you can do that as well. Maybe you've been one of her customers in the past, one of the people that she has mentored, maybe one of the people that has taken something away from one of her motivational speeches that she's done. Maybe you've seen her at an event or something like that, and you just want to make a comment and say how much it helped or how much it didn't help, because you'd be up for that as well, wouldn't you?
Always open to feedback.
Yeah, and that's what this is all about. So if you want to, just go at BizConnect6. That's our Twitter handle. Are they called handles? They are, aren't they? It's our Twitter name, and you can get in touch with us there. It's straightforward and as easy as that. Now, we just mentioned Richard Eaton a moment or so ago. He is the @man, and he was on the program last week. Great show on apps. If your business is thinking about getting an app, there's one, what we try to do here is, this is not a sell. We don't get people on and sit them down and go, right, you've got an hour to sell your business. That isn't what this is about. This is around about information for your business, who you should be talking to, who you should be, or what you should be considering when you're thinking about a particular path or direction in your business. And with him, he came in and he explained why your business should or shouldn't have an app. Have a look at what happened in last week's edition of Business Connections Live. And my guest this evening is Richard Eaton, who runs Appware. Richard's going to be talking to us about how apps help people just like you in their day-to-day running of their business and their life, and also how having your own app will help your business in terms of sales, marketing, and even customer support too.
The first apps were invented by Apple. So when the first iPhone came along, using the term apps these days is bandied about a little bit too much. But the original, as in smartphone apps, was Apple with the original iPhone. It's probably more difficult to create apps for smartphones than it is to build web-based software or installable software on your Mac or PC. The key criteria is, what are you trying to achieve? There's no point just having an app for the sake of it. The same way, there's no point just having a website if you don't know what you want to do on that website. So first of all, you need to find out what you want to achieve in your business. Is that to grow sales, sell things directly through the app, raise awareness, customer support, all those kinds of things, and then look at this being a different way to approach that market. Now there's obviously millions of apps out there, so it's not just about, before when there was just Apple and 6 years ago, you could create an app and as long as it was half decent, people would naturally find it and download it and use it. Because there's so many out there, then you have to market your app as well. One thing that people do a lot with apps, because there are so many, they'll download them and you've literally got 30 seconds for them to figure out how the thing works. Otherwise they could just never use it again or they'll delete it.
Most patients I see with problems don't spend long enough cleaning their teeth. Finally, keeping your teeth and gums clean and healthy becomes something to enjoy.
So it's had hundreds of thousands of downloads in, I think at the last count, 165 different countries across the world. The past few years we've had a handful of restaurants approach us. These restaurants approach and say, we'd like to have our menus in the app, we'd like directions, we'd like to be able to market to our end users. Offers, everyone likes offers, so again, if you've got that app you can see it. It's interesting that our business model moves from service to product. So what we're doing is we're selling something multiple times, so we're commoditising it. Most apps that we build these days do talk to a server somewhere to get the latest content. We often have people come to us and say, oh, well, we'd like an app, but we just want it to replicate the information on our website.
A brochure nearly.
Yes, exactly. And what I tend to say to those people is, you don't actually need an app. What you need, I'd rather be honest with you, what you need is a responsive website. It's like any business decision, you've got to look at it as part of your whole business. If you're putting something out there just for marketing your business, it would come from a marketing budget and will not generate direct cash. If the other end of the spectrum is the whole app is the business, that app obviously has to generate money. So things like in-app purchase, or you pay 69p to download the app. But the beauty of apps is you have that scale. So 69p doesn't sound like a great business, but when you've got hundreds of thousands of users out there downloading it for 69p, these soon add up. Thank you. My name is Richard Eaton from Appware, where we develop and design amazing award-winning mobile apps for smartphones. If you just want some help and advice, then get in touch with me. The best way to do that is to look on our website, appware.co.uk. As we mentioned earlier, we have some off-the-shelf products and there are others coming. At the minute it's for restaurants, cafes, bars, that kind of stuff. If you're interested in that, take a look at makemyrestaurantapp.com.
You're watching Business Connections Live. Great to have your company as always. It is edition number 74. My guest this evening is Debbie Huxton. She's a business and executive coach who's in demand as an inspirational and motivational speaker. Do you know what? we were trying to sort out the Twitter feed. We will get it sorted out a bit later on. And my glasses fell on the floor and they're smashed. So can I just say that the first of our midday shows is going remarkably smoothly. All right, that was interesting seeing Richard there talking around about the way apps actually work for businesses. Yes. He said to us, we don't need an app, in fact, is what he said to us.
Brilliant.
Which is great, because that saves a lot of money, doesn't it? Because of the way we work. We use YouTube, we have RSS feeds and things like that. Now, Richard's coming to you. He's a very focused guy, but he's a very focused guy on the technology, I would imagine. So people like Richard and other businesses, I don't want to be talking about specific people, but how do you move away that fog, that cloud? How do you make people actually focus on what they need to do? Are there a list of instructions that you give them? Do you say, here's what you need to do?
Well, first and foremost, coming back to the fact that Richard told you don't need an app, how fantastic is that? What an honest, integral man. Indeed. That he said you don't need it, because he could have easily sold you something, and that's what stands him out from the crowd, is the fact that he's so authentic and so true to what his values are. So answering the second question, how do I get people to take away that fog? Isn't that brilliant, that terminology I'm going to use, that take away that brain fog? Well, it's really understanding that this brain of ours is wired for self-preservation, it's wired for survival. And so we're actually programmed for negative, because we're programmed to look out for the dangers in life, so we're always seeking out the negative. And let's just take away the business. Underneath every single business there is a human being running it, and we all run fundamentally, but one size doesn't fit all. So it's getting back to basics and helping people understand how they're actually wired. So with somebody like Richard, it's getting him to step away from the technology and look at himself first and foremost, because that's what's driving his business. At the heart of every single business is the business owner. And sometimes the business owner themselves forgets about themselves because they're so busy running the business. The most sustainable and thriving way to run a successful, profitable business is to understand that we all have needs, those needs to be met, and that the people in the business matter. They matter more than the product. If the people are right, the product will be selling all day long.
Do you think sometimes that I know I see it here, it's more fun to muck around with the equipment and the technology that we've got here than it is to do any real work? But do you see that a lot? You kind of get into nearly the running of the business as opposed to the success of the business. Do you see that?
I think we're programmed for processes, aren't we? If you look at our education system, it's the way that we've been programmed. And when you set up a business, it's very different to the corporate world. It requires a completely different mindset. I remember when I started my business thinking, I'm going to be a millionaire in 5 years because I'm going to set my own prices. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to drive it myself, and I'll be driving a flash car and I'll have all the handbags, etc. What a load of tosh. Along the way, I realised actually, one, it wasn't about the money, but secondly, I needed to get the fundamentals right first to be able to run that business. And what you see a lot of the time is that business owners are so entrenched, stuck in the business, that they're not having that head up time to invest in themselves.
Do you think we've got our motivations wrong as well? Sometimes you were talking there, should the motivation in business should it be success? Or should it be money, or are the two the same? Or should it be happiness and fulfillment?
So it would be wrong of me to tell anybody what they should be focusing on in that respect. But it's fundamentally understanding what are your motives for action. Money is just the result of an action. It's making sure that you're taking the right actions within your business to get that end result. But you know what most people find? That when they set these goals to earn whatever money it is, that it's really not about the money. It's more about how they feel inside. You know, we talk about success, we talk about being successful. Well, the most fundamental thing is understanding that it all starts from in here. And most of us haven't focused on that. Most of us are just focused on the business processes, getting your business right to put the pounds in the bank account.
What would you say to people who say this is all just a bit woolly and really it's just... I'm being real devil's advocate now,
Yeah,
so if I offend you, I do apologise. But you'll hit me afterwards. But people that say it's all a bit woolly, what do you really know about my business? You come in from the outside and you tell me it's about focus, it's about this, serenity, la 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 la, and they feel that they're not getting concrete suggestions. Or is that not what you do?
Well, no, that's not what I do. So I've never... In the 5 years I've been running my business, I've never had anybody tell me that I'm woolly. I'm far from it. You know, I'm going to tell you as it is.
But that is a criticism that some people got, isn't it? This is what you said at the very beginning. You can do the walk.
Yeah.
And that is the difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
So people that you do get a lot of people out there, and we see them. You've seen them.
Yeah.
I've seen them. Particularly when we go to some of these large events, we will see people standing on stage, spouting off all the intellectual wonderness. And I mean, as a presenter, I could stand up there and not know what I'm talking about for half an hour, but I would make it sound and I would deliver it so professionally they would think I was an expert. Like now, for instance, that's not the case right now. You understand that?
Just watch the tumbleweed go past then.
Yes, yeah, but you see what I mean by that. And we've both seen people that can stand up and actually do that.
Listen, you know, I was hoodwinked by somebody like that. You know, my journey hasn't been a bed of roses. Trust me, the reason I'm here doing this at this moment in time is from all the mistakes that I have made. And, you know, I was hoodwinked by somebody who did that, was able to stand on stage and sell certainty, tapping into my pain, tapping into my need, if you like. For me, it's not about that. For me, I would like to believe that I can change the coaching arena from the inside out, because it's not about tapping into people's pain. It's about helping people understand that they have every skill and resource inside them to make the changes in their life that they want. They have all the skills and resources inside them to build a business. It's the kind of business that they're building that matters.
Okay, now we've got some tweets that are coming in on paper. So you just bring them around that way there.
Lovely, Linda.
We'll keep looking at you, and we'll just have a look. So one of the tweets has come in here. I'll wear my one-eyed glasses here. Yeah. Jim. This is from Stephen Thomas. Hi, Steph. Great to see you.
Hi, Steph.
Book's fantastic. That's networking for dummies. What makes people unhappy? And why do some people find success so elusive? So what makes people unhappy, first of all?
So this is a great question. So thanks for asking that, Steph. You know, my particular answer to that would be, if you start looking at our base brain, so we're wired for negative. We're wired to seek out danger. And because we're wired in that way, that transmits into our thoughts. Our thoughts, thought over and over, become beliefs. Our beliefs then lead to emotions and expectations. Those expectations and emotions lead to actions. Those actions lead to reactions and results, which lead to consequences. If you look at that whole chain reaction, the middle part, the expectation, is the thing that lets people down every single time, because we have an expectation. If you look at the media at the moment, you look at all of the advertising, we should look a certain way, we should be a certain way. So we're being programmed for failure.
But isn't the expectations the dream of success? Isn't that, for many business owners, it is the dream? You know, we've got this, we'd love this to be a multinational broadcast company. I mean, it's not doing too bad at the moment. I mean, it's seen all over the world, but we'd love it to be bigger and have programs every day. That's the dream.
Yeah.
But
that's your end goal, so that's your results.
Right.
The expectation in the meantime is that you'll have to work hard to get it.
Gotcha. Understand.
So unhappiness, you know, what makes people unhappy? Well, that's an individual's choice. It's a choice to be unhappy. We choose happiness, we choose to be unhappy, but it's based on our expectation.
So then, why do people find success so elusive then? Why is that?
Again, how
do they just
fantastic.
lose sight?
I don't think people understand success. It depends what the definition of success is to you. For me, the definition of success is really simple. And I think, you've heard Brad talk about this before. It's to be better tomorrow than I was today. When I go to bed at night, the idea of success is that I've done my best during that day. And I think that success is so elusive because we're building it up to be something that is unattainable.
Okay. Another tweet for you. This is from Rachel. By the way, I've got the lens back in now.
It looks so much better.
I'm on both eyeballs. We're always told as children to make up our minds. Do you think this makes it more difficult to be a mind changer?
Yeah, I've had this similar conversation with somebody recently, that we're always told to make up our minds. And I think we put people under pressure, because what does that really mean? At the end of the day, I will say this over and over again, one size doesn't fit all. And your mind can be made up with all of the beliefs and experiences that you've had in your lifetime. But the question you have to ask yourself is that serving you? If it's not serving you, you have to let it go.
It's interesting that, isn't it? Because I think as well that when we're talking to children as well, for instance, this is going back to the days when children are little, and you always say to them, clear your plate. We do get programmed from a very young age, don't we?
We do. We're programmed from the moment we're born, really, aren't we? We're like sponges. And this is the analogy. I'm trying not to laugh. And this is the analogy
the lens has fallen out again.
The analogy that I use to explain it in a really simple term. If you think about a sponge with all its holes in it, when you're born, you've got a smoother sponge with less holes. As you go through life, more holes start to appear in it, because cracks start to happen in our thinking, because we've been given ideals or beliefs or norms as a child. As we grow up and we start to have an experience of the world, those norms and beliefs are challenged, and then we become confused and we're not sure which way to go.
For fear of for not wanting to repeat myself, if you had a template for business today from the experience that you've had, do you think there is a template that you could go through for our viewers today that would give them at least an introduction to the things that they can change within their business and the way that they approach their business to make it more profitable and better? Is that a big question? Yeah,
it's a good question though, because that's why I've just launched my Business Wisdom Hub. The ethos behind that is that it's broken into 4 parts, and the template is, first and foremost, you need to be looking at your marketing, and your marketing starts with you. So how are you being perceived out there in the marketplace? Because how you're perceived is actually how your brand will be perceived. And I read something great the other day from Jeff, the guy that owns Amazon, and he put a quote out there saying, your brand, the message that you're giving, is the message that you actually leave in the room when you've left the room. It's not actually what's on your website, it's about you. So first and foremost, that template starts off with marketing. How are you being perceived in the marketplace? What are you giving out? What do you need to change about you? The second thing is looking at your strategy. So what strategies have you in place? One, to invest in yourself and take care of yourself and have that emotional mastery. And then looking at your business intelligence, so that business mastery. How are the beliefs that you have and how you're being perceived and portraying yourself, how are they affecting how you're putting the processes in place in your business? And the one ideal thing that I get every single person to look at is their values. Because those values are a secret language, and most of the time most people are living incongruent to their values, and their brand isn't even aligned to their values. So we look at strategy. The third part of the template then will be looking at the sales. How are you making your sales? And teaching people the art of selling, the art of not selling to sell. So for example, Richard Eaton told you did not need an app. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for Richard? Well, actually, he's just gone up in your esteem.
Absolutely.
Because he's told you the truth. If he'd have told you that you need an app and it costs this much money and you believed him and you bought that app and it did nothing for you, he'd go down in your esteem. So in actual fact, what Richard has just done is just use the most priceless commodity he has in his business for sales, which is honesty. And a lot of people are not honest when they're selling their product or service.
It's interesting you mentioned that about sales, the fact that you're feeling the customer's pain. So we've had programs where we've talked about the alternative way. Everybody initially would talk about its features and benefits. Tell them the features, here come the benefits, tell them the features. And that's the way the traditional direct marketing kind of works. But it seems that more and more people are now talking about this, feeling the pain for the customer. In fact, the customer shouldn't really be doing the close themselves, because what you do is you highlight the fact that they need your service, you highlight the fact that they need your product. So you are feeling the pain. The question isn't so much, do you want this? Is how much is this worth for you to have this? So it's a very different approach to sales. A lot of people, I think, find that very uncomfortable.
Again, it's about programming, isn't it? It's how we've been programmed. Because when you're running your own business, at the end of the day, your fundamental needs at the beginning are to pay those bills. You've quite often exchanged a job for a business, which is what I did, and you've exchanged a job for a business, so there is that expectation that that job, that business now needs to meet the salary that you had when you were in the job. So they're under pressure. And when you first start something, you're looking for those quick ways. It's like dieting, it's like getting fit. You're looking for the quick ways. And the reality is you have to shift that mindset to understand your business requires 3 things. Truth, always be honest with yourself and your clients. Discipline, you have to be disciplined and consistent in everything that you do. And strategy, you need to have a plan in place. You need to know what those processes are, but they need to be aligned to your values.
What do you think is the most difficult of those 3? Truth, I would imagine, will be very difficult for a lot of people. Is truth the one? Or is it all 3 are equal?
Well, I would actually say, you know, horses for courses, one size doesn't fit all. Somebody may find it easy to be honest, it's easy. Other people find discipline, and I'd actually say it's probably the discipline that most people find challenging, because they set their intentions every day to go through X, Y and Z, and then something comes along to challenge that. So discipline is vitally important when you're running a business. You have to be disciplined. If you're going to make those phone calls, you need to make those phone calls, because then what happens is you challenge your own thinking yet again, because you don't do something, you feel a failure.
Yep. Okay, couple more tweets have come in. This is from Mr. Burton.
Oh, hi, Brad.
You've got an itchy nose, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to go. You'll see some.
Tissue.
So give it a blow. No, give it a blow. We don't mind. Okay then, Brad Burton. I'll tell you what we'll do. Before we see Brad, let's just remind you who Mr. Brad Burton is. If you're not familiar with Brad Burton, we're just going to have a quick look at this. This is Mr. Brad Burton on the first edition of 4 Networking TV. We showed this last week. We had a huge response just to get the fundamentals of what 4 Networking TV is all about. It's a program that goes out once a month. It's from 4 Networking, who are the largest networking organisation in the UK. I know you're familiar with them. Stefan is familiar with them. Brad Burton, of course, is, well, he's the instigator of the whole thing, but it's a big organisation. If you are in business, then 4 Networking is an organisation that's going to help your business to succeed. Let's just give you a bit of a reminder about 4 Networking TV.
You know what, we've been 9 years now, Steve, 9 years with 4 Networking, and this was going to be for us something new for us, something new for the members, and it's 9 years of it's been difficult at times, but we're here, and I think what 4 Networking represents is this whole piece about what it's like to be run a business, a small business. You know, 4 Networking, we started in a box room 9 years ago, one group, and people said, oh, it'd never work, it's the wrong time to start a business off in that manner, it's a crowded, congested space. Look at 9 years on, we've got 5,000 groups across the UK, and it's amazing. And to be doing 4 Networking TV from this amazing studio is just so exciting for us.
Smile, be chat, join 4 Networking.
Brad is as brilliant as he is chaotic. He is a hotbed of ideas, of intent, and sometimes it's like, imagine a Richard Branson. You know, Richard, he kind of wears his funny jumpers, and he's out there kind of, he's the spokesperson and he's the driver. But don't for one assume that Richard isn't smart, analytical, dedicated, determined, and has a great team of people underneath him that actually provide the right service and product for the people, their customers that they're trying to sell to. That's what we're trying to do with 4N now, is give the membership more.
Smile, be chat, join 4 Networking.
I've got a real passion for this thing. I've got a real passion for 4 Networking, and our whole MO is to make a positive difference, and we continue to do that 9 years on. And for the next 9 years, watch what we do. We're going to take this world over in a lovely, positive, benign way.
What's he asking?
Smile, be chat, join 4 Networking.
You're watching Business Connections Live. It is programme number 74. It's our first of our midday shows here on a Monday. We're going to be here every Monday now at midday. We look forward to your company. It's a great opportunity. By the way, thank you very much for all the tweets. We've had a lot of people tweeting saying that they love the new midday time slot. Thank you very much indeed for that. I must admit, you see, I'm a bit of a stickler. I said, no, Wednesday nights, 7 o'clock. Then it went to 6 o'clock. And I, who should be obeyed, said, no, it's going to go to Monday at midday, and here we are, midday. So it looks like a good decision. Brad has tweeted in and said, how do you climb back from rock bottom?
Good question. Thanks, Brad.
Good question, Brad.
How do you climb back from rock bottom? Well, you know, how I climbed back from rock bottom was by being thrown Brad's book across the room. It hit me, and I started to read it. And within that book, I recognised myself, and I recognised that I had my own head at my own bottom, and I was programmed for failure. That's what I recognised reading that book, Get Off Your Arse. I was absolutely programmed for failure. And so I read the book, and there was a few words in there that I was determined to make some changes, and that's what I did. I started to recognise, as I've just said, that I did have all of the skills and resources inside me to build a business. I'm no different from anybody else. We all have those abilities.
And that's what's so important about this, isn't it? But from reading the book, what were your actions from reading the book?
So the first thing was to tweet Brad, because I couldn't read the book, because the book was written in with such great humour that I kept missing my page and rereading stuff. So he very kindly sent me the audio link. From the audio link, I then tweeted Brad and said I really enjoyed the book and recognised myself in there. And then that led to a phone call with him. That led to me meeting him. That led to me going and becoming a full networking member. That led to me being his coach, and the rest is history, really. You
know, it's very strange, isn't it? Because I think sometimes, I think we on this programme come over slightly evangelistic a little bit about Brad and for networking. I think the reason that we've got involved with it is because we actually believe in it as an organisation. Apart from that, Brad's actually a nice bloke. So,
amazing man.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people meet him and they wonder, do you get what you see? And the answer is yes, you do.
Yeah.
That is Brad that you meet. The other question you said, and I don't know whether this is rude or not, but you'll tell me, what's your under £10 treat?
Oh, I love this one. So that straight away that comes to mind. Back in the day when I was an overweight, unhealthy, the irony of it, nurse, it would have been nipping into Asda and buying some tiger bread and a pack of Lurpak and eating myself to death. Now I'm the new improved model. I would say to you, my under £10 treat is Netflix subscription. Honestly, I've just had the best weekend with my hubby, hidden away, watching House of Cards season 3.
So that's what you've been doing?
Yeah.
So do you think we forget to treat ourselves?
Oh, massively. We forget to celebrate, one, who we are and how amazing we are, but two, our businesses and what they're doing for people, you know?
Now, what would you say to people that who are working on their business during the day and then go home at night and they can't switch off from their businesses? What would you say to them? What would you say to me?
I'd say I know how you feel. I felt exactly the same way. And as to coin a phrase from Brad, you know, it's up to you when you're in your own business which 24 hours of the day you work. You have to understand, and I keep hammering on about this, running your own business is a different mindset. It's a different kettle of fish. It's not 9 to 5. You know, some people might think that they can open the doors in the morning and then close the doors at night. It doesn't work that way. When you're in business, you're running your life. Your business is your life. The two are merged. So this myth about work-life balance, that's for people in jobs. It's not for people who have businesses. In business, if you're doing what you love, it doesn't matter which 24 hours of the day you're doing it in. You know, there are days when last week, I'm detoxing off caffeine, and I had a whacking headache and I needed to get some stuff done, but it's not life or death, and I chose to take the afternoon off, move my phone calls around to the next day so that I could sit down in the dark and watch Netflix. Drama, how unprofessional of me. But actually, how much more productive was I the next day having taken time out to nurture myself?
Do you think people just forget that all the time?
I think so. Like I said to you, it's this conditioning, it's this programming that if I'm not using every spare minute in the day, then I'm missing out on something. You are far more productive if you have that head up time and take time out for self-care. Self-care is the top thing that I teach everybody.
Right, let's just have a quick look at the website, because this is always interesting.
Wow, that's interesting, because that's just about to change, so that's exciting.
Is it really? This is So this is currently what we've got there at the moment.
Yeah.
You cannot thrive. Who's that there?
Oh, that's actually me, and we're excited, aren't we? Because after we finish this
we're going to be doing, that's right.
You're coming on my live Google Hangout.
I'm really looking forward to that, and there's no audio on this for the moment, but if you actually have a quick gander on the screen, I'll just kick it off, you can see. So this is a Netflix that's taken place in the past, and we're looking at 7 easy ways to deal with toxic relationships. What do you mean by toxic relationships?
Great. I love these questions. So, toxic relationships. Well, you answer that question for me, Steve.
People you don't really want to be in a relationship with because they're negative,
right,
or they're non-productive to be with, or they look on the black side all the time.
So, the thing that I encourage people in business is to look at your influence. 1, from how you're being influenced in your business. 2, how you're being influenced in your outside relationships at home. And 3, the other influences that you're taking in from the books you're reading, the TV you're watching, etc. That influence needs to be something that actually is helping you subtly move forward in life and not derailing you from where you are. I had a client come to me last week who has constantly got somebody ringing them up, draining the life out of them, to talk to them about their things that they're not liking about their own business or people they're in business with. And my client was listening to them constantly, validating their behaviour, and as a result ended up not being very productive last week because they felt so drained from all the negative. So that toxic relationship is so important to understand, that you do not have to put up with toxic relationships. You're not on this earth to be punished. You're here to serve yourself first and foremost and make your difference. And the relationships that you have around you should be serving you, and they should be serving you in a positive way. If they're not, it may be time to ditch them or distance yourself from them.
Good advice. That negativity can actually flow over and infect you, can't it? It
can become very, very toxic. You know, when people are criticising other people and you're listening to it and you're taking in all of that, it's corrosive. It's corrosive to your own mindset. And in business, you need to protect yourself. You need to actually protect yourself with a ring of positivity that's going to help you move forward.
Can you sometimes put a positive swing on things in your own life, but actually be getting it wrong? So you kind of end up bigging up the problems, and they actually need to be addressed in a different way because you're just bigging them up. You're putting a bit of a, what's the expression? A bit of a, not swing.
A mask?
Well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, but you know what I mean. A spin, that's the word I'm looking for.
Okay.
A bit of a spin on them.
Yes. So, you know, I was very guilty of this myself, so I'm talking from experience. It's always seeing the good in things, but never actually admitting that something might be wrong, because you think seeing the good will actually carry you forward, and it won't. You have to stop and learn to be in the pain first. And that is the challenge that we have, because we don't like it. We're not courageous enough to look in the mirror and say, oh, something might need changing. And so it's learning to be in the pain first. If you can learn to be in the pain first, then you can focus on the solutions to help you move forward. But what lots of people are doing is they mask it. Yeah, it's okay, I'm fine, everything's okay, the business is fine. And actually it's not.
Hey, got another tweet. This time it's from David Walker. Do you know David?
I do. He's a client of mine.
Is he a client of yours?
Plus 24 Marketing.
David, plus 24. Now, David, in that case, then he actually did a fantastic tweet about watching you today. So, David, plus 24 Marketing. Thank you very much. Indeed, it's great to have you with us today. David says, success rituals. How do you make those rituals become a habit?
Choose. Dave, it's a choice, and I know why you're asking me that question. It's about discipline.
You want to talk straight to Dave?
Yeah, where is he?
Talk straight. He's behind camera number 1 over
Dave,
there.
How do you make those success rituals become a habit? Well, why don't you ask yourself that? Ask yourself why you're not doing them. Ask yourself why you're choosing to ignore them. Ask yourself why you're not putting yourself first. You know that the secret to your success is for you to become the best that you can be. And if you're not at peak performance, you are never going to achieve that unlimited potential that you so desire. So success rituals are a choice. It's your choice to put those in place.
Do you know, for a moment there I felt like I was on one of those psychic channels.
Did you?
Yeah, and your birthday date is, you will meet a tall, dark man, and you will marry him and have 4 children.
Thank you very much.
If you're watching us for the first time, it's great to have your company. It's the brand new time for Business Connections Live. My guest today is Debbie Huxton. Some of the guests that we've got coming up over the next couple of weeks, some amazing guests. Our guest next Monday is Dan Spicer from Hootsuite. Now, if you are a fan of Hootsuite, then Dan's the man. He really is. He's going to be coming in here. He's going to be explaining to you how to get the most out of using Hootsuite. If you think that social media is all just a little bit too complicated, or maybe more importantly, a little bit too time consuming, and you want maybe a more easier, quicker, better, effective way of utilising and getting a return on investment, listen to me with all the buzzwords, with Hootsuite, then Dan is going to explain how to do that. Now, don't forget, social media is important. The word social, underlined, capital letters in bold print. Social. It's about communicating. It's a two-way process. Hootsuite can support that, but I don't think it can ever replace that ongoing conversation that yes, you can promote things forward on it. For instance, you know, you can say Debbie will be on the program today at midday and she's going to be talking about this. You can promote things with it, but the conversation only starts then. But Hootsuite will allow you to start. So Dan's going to be on the program, and he heads up EMEA community team at Hootsuite, and he'll be providing a number of actionable tips and tricks to implement into your social media strategy. Also, I've just been whispered in my ear that we've got Neil Clough. He's going to be joining us this month as well. And who else? And Warren Knight as well, and 2 fantastic guests that are going to be coming in and sharing their expertise, those business hints and tips that you need to make certain that your business is a success. In fact, today we are talking about success in your business, how to get that success. And it does seem that from what you've said so far, the success is all about taking it from within, isn't it? It starts with me.
Yeah.
It doesn't start with somebody else. You can't expect somebody else to step in and do it for you. You've got to stop for a moment and go, the only person that's going to make me successful is me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you got 5 tips that you would give to start that process going? 3 tips, 2 tips, 1 tip.
So the first thing to do is ask yourself, do you want to change? Because if you don't want to change, there's no point going through anything else. You have to make that decision. You know, Prochaska's theory of change talks about pre-contemplation phase, action phase, management phase. Majority of people are in the pre-contemplation phase where they're thinking about it. So you have to first and foremost make that decision. Do you want to change? If the answer's yes, then you need to be prepared to take a good look in that mirror and have the courage to do so, and be honest with yourself. What is it that you found? What is it that needs changing? And learn to be in that pain just for that moment in time. And then what you need to do is you need to understand that the relationship that's most important in your life is the one that you have with yourself. You need to put your oxygen mask on first, and that's why change is so important, and it has to start with you. If you want to be more, you have to do more. If you want to have more, you have to do more. If you want to have change, you have to change. It's that simple. You know, the thing with personal development is over the years it's been wrapped up in all this voodoo stuff, all these massive myths and secrets, and it's absolute rubbish. Break it down and keep it simple. If you want to change, then change. Somebody asked me on my Google Hangout a couple of weeks ago, I've got this issue going on, what's your advice? I went, I've got 2 words, stop it. Life is that simple. We're just overcomplicating it. Well, we almost, you know, Brad and I talk about this a lot. We almost want to be hoodwinked. Unless if it's got a long-winded process, we almost think it's believable. If it's short and simple, we're like, no, that can't possibly be true.
This is really nearly going back to the long-form sales letter, isn't it?
Yeah.
You got this great big long letter that's telling you the key benefits and features, and you read, and they say that once you get caught into it, there's more chance perhaps that you might purchase at the end because it's got this long process before it. It's nearly hypnotising yourself, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And yet you could actually just turn around to somebody and go, that will do what you want it to do, buy it.
Yeah, exactly. And it won't do, and we promise you money back at the end if we don't live up to what we said. Life is much simpler. And I think, you know, that's what's happening, especially with the the recession that we've just been through. That's what people are now starting to recognise. Life's not about stuff. Life's about us. It's about why we're here, the purpose that we have on this planet. Our business needs to mean something. We want to have a legacy. We want to help people change their lives. We want to understand what that sense of, our hierarchy of needs. We want to hit that area of self-fulfillment, self-actualization. And more people are starting to understand now that the way to achieve those things is not about actually driving how many sales we have in our business. It's creating great relationships. And that starts fundamentally with a great relationship with yourself. When you have that great relationship with yourself, guess what? It becomes so easy to connect to other people. And you'll suddenly be aligned with people around you that have great relationships with themselves. And that then starts to create a real power, a real emphasis on doing business. You know, that's the great thing about full networking. That's the whole ethos that is built on. It's about helping people belong to a community of like-minded individuals that understand it's all about meet, know, like and trust. I'm not going to buy your product if I don't trust you. But more importantly, I might not buy your product if I don't trust myself. And that's profound, isn't it, when you start to think about that? Because what we're seeing out in the world is mirror images of what's going on in our mind. So if we've got a really corrosive mindset and we're criticising them all the time, and we've had experiences we haven't dealt with, what we're seeing is a picture of that, a mirage of that is being shown in front of us the whole time. Our brains, as I keep saying, are wired for survival. So constantly it's looking for ways to survive. So when it's being offered a product that's challenging that survival because something is triggered from your past, guess what? It shuts down and you'll never buy that product, even if that product is something you need. And that is absolutely essential in business, is to understand that you need to overcome your own experiences. You need to get over yourself first for you then to have great relationships to then build thriving businesses.
When you present the Debbie Huxton mantra, because it is, I agree with everything you said. You know, you look at the little book, Big Wisdom. When you look at that and some of the ideas that are in there, some of the phraseology that's used in there, they pull you up for a moment. It's a bit like a comma in your day's life. You know, you look at it, you read it, you think, yeah, that's right. When you say this to some business people, do you ever get a negative reaction to it? Because let's face it, everybody that's watching this right now, I would imagine, they have got bookshelves that are filled with self-help books. You know, everything from the Anthony Robbins NLP, which we talked about, and I think NLP is brilliant because I do believe that we can program ourselves and that we can push ourselves forward, we can make ourselves successful because we've got to believe in ourselves. However, I find Anthony's books, as if I know him, I find them very, very repetitive, but maybe that's the style of the book. And then you've got things like, you know, stress is good in business, we're full of these books. But do people ever take notice of the books? Do they ever take notice of the words of wisdom that are in it? Do they take notice when you tell them what's actually happening in their business?
So great. There's loads of questions in there.
Loads of questions.
So first of all, there's a page in my book that says, you know, stop becoming a shelf-help junkie, buying all these books, reading them, expecting them to change your life, popping them on the shelf and then sitting there going, well, life hasn't changed.
Shall we burn them?
Yeah.
We're going to burn the books.
No.
We're not going to burn the books.
Books are important. Books are important because it's about education. But the secret of education, knowledge isn't power unless you apply it. So that whole thing about knowledge is power.
That's good.
Add the end bit on, knowledge isn't power unless you apply it.
I like that.
Think about have you heard of the book The Secret?
What a brilliant piece of marketing.
The book The Secret,
The Secret.
And it talks about the law of attraction.
I've got it. I've got the book.
And do you know what the secret of that book is? It's in the word attraction. It's action. You cannot sit there and manifest something with good intentions and hope for it to happen. Should we try it? No, it doesn't work. What you have to do is understand the law of creation. You have to tap into your ability to go and apply what you now want to manifest.
But don't you think there's a danger with the likes of The Secret? Noel Edmonds as well, he brought out a book which is a derivative of The Secret.
Okay.
He asked the cosmos, and because he asked the cosmos, he got, what's the name of his show? Deal or no deal. He got that because he asked the cosmos. He's written a book, but he firmly believes in that. Is it then that belief is no more than just a vehicle, in the same way as The Secret may not have any foundations at all in reality, but it's all about a mental state of mind.
Well, I think The Secret alludes to that. If you actually read it properly and watch the video properly, well, I think that most people are looking for that quick fix. So they hear certain things, they're picking out what they really want from it that's going to help them, or they think so. If you actually sit down and read the words in that book, that's what they're alluding to, that you are that higher self, you are that power, you are the person that is going to change your life. The person in the mirror is the person that is going to change your life. So you can read all the books you want, but you're the person that has to apply the knowledge from the books. So if we come back to my book, that's why we designed it the way we did, so that it was short, sharp burst, in your face, stop, think about what's on that page, and then how it applies to your life. So I even give instructions at the beginning.
Now, if you're not familiar with the book, this is the book here. As you can see, it's absolutely massive, right? So inside that, there's going to be one of two things. There's either going to be lots of text written very small, or bugger all text written very big. Let me open it for you, and you will see that it's not very much text written very big. And let me just read. This is good for me because, do you know, I won't read that one. Okay, here's one I can read. If you're thinking everything is hard, right now, you're right. So you just got to own up to it. You've got to, stop letting the opinions of others control your decision making. Stop. It's advice like that that will really, really work for you and your business. It's a cracking little book. It's the book that you have in your pocket that you pull out at a moment's notice and you go, do you know what? I just need a little bit of inspiration. Right. But avoid comparing yourself to others. It's a recipe for disaster. We do the talk. Mm-hmm. We do the walk.
Yeah.
You've sat there, you do one of your talks, you come in, you see people, and we've all done this. We've sat there and we've felt, I feel elated. I feel focused. I know exactly where I'm going with my life. I felt that actually after listening to The Secret and reading The Secret. I felt it was uplifting. Mm-hmm. But very quickly, you end up going back. How do you maintain that consistency that, yes, I've read the book, I'm fired up, I'm charged up. How can I feel like that next week? Do I have to read the book again, or is there a way that I can NLP it? Can I anchor it in my life?
You can anchor it. You can anchor it so that you have that feeling consistently. However, let's take it back to even further basics than that. It's understanding that for you to have any feeling, it's a choice. You can choose to feel a feeling at any time in your life. So if I said to you now, think of a sad moment that you had in your life, you can remember it. You can remember how it felt.
Yep.
If I asked you to visualise it, you've probably got pictures that come to mind. If I asked you to hear it, you've probably got sounds that come to mind.
So this is classic. And you actually had me going there because when you started, I went back to a particular place.
So I'm doing it on purpose. So let's do it right now, live for the audience. No. So you've done that.
I'll go because I am a real.
So I don't want you to go there, but I want you to just acknowledge that you could feel something sad.
God, yeah.
Now let's take somewhere happy. So think of a happy thing that happened recently. Me walking into the office today. That 7-second hug that we had.
Yep.
It made you feel good.
By the way, that we must share that, mustn't we?
Yeah.
If you're going to hug somebody, 7 seconds. And 7 seconds, when we do our media training course, we tell people about 10 seconds at the end. And what we say, you talk for a minute and the last 10 seconds, we count them out. 10, 9, 8. 10 seconds is an eternity. 7 seconds is long enough to start feeling uncomfortable, isn't it? It's amazing. But we did that when Debbie turned up today. Everybody here, this sounds so strange. Everybody hugged for 7 seconds. It was a wonderful
It was lovely.
moment. Yeah.
But coming back to that whole thing about you've just changed the subject there. So coming back to that thing about happiness, sadness. So you felt a happy feeling. So therein lies the proof that you at any moment can change how you feel.
Yep.
So when it comes to long-standing feeling good and you've taken something away from an event where you feel really fired up, really motivated, is going away, making a plan and understanding that it takes discipline and it takes action to keep those things happening.
You would pay an absolute fortune if you had to go along to a presentation by the lovely Debbie Huxton to get some of the advice that you've heard today. You can join her online, of course. You can go to her website, which is going to be changing very shortly. Debbie Huxton, it's online there. The address will remain the same, won't it?
Yes.
Debbie-Huxton.com if you want to go along to the website. That's currently how it will look. Look, she's still talking there. You look like that comedian. I can't remember her name. I'll tell you, we'll figure it out afterwards. Twitter's please if you don't mind. You can go along there if you wish. You can find out more. We're going to be doing a hangout in an hour's time, fingers crossed. That's Debbie's website. Once again, it is Huxton.com. Straightforward, easy. You can find out. If you just look down here as well, here's just some of the big wisdom posts. 7 easy ways to deal with toxic relationships. Aim, ready, fire. The Unwrap Your 2015. Your ticket to freedom. The daily rituals are a secret to your success. You are the person that can change your life. The Business Show 2014 London Olympia. We were there. Talking about the Business Show, don't forget we're going to be there at Excel. That's the 13th and 14th of May if you fancy coming along. The UK's biggest exhibition for anyone starting or growing a business. Keynote speakers have got Piers Linney. He's going to be there, star of BBC's Dragon Den as well. Can we have a look at that? Thank you. And also you've got some of the other keynote speakers as well. Brad's going to be there. Nice to see that Warren Cass is going to be there. Bill Morrow is going to be here. And there is just some of the stuff about last year's show. We had a great time. If you want to find out about last year's show, you can go along. Listen, we always ask our guests to do 3 minutes to camera or thereabouts about the key things, a bit of our takeaways at the end. Would you do that for us?
I would.
For people to... I'll just get rid of the glasses. They're useless anyway. The other thing I must remind you of while Debbie prepares herself is the Debbie Huxton calendar. Big
We've just
wisdom,
got 2016 gone into production.
Yeah, so this is... So are these available now?
No, they're all sold out.
They're all sold out?
Yeah.
Well, we've got some here, but look... Your reason why is your fuel. I've been so careful because some of these pages have swear words on them.
da, da, da.
Da, 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 Debbie Huxton. Da, 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 da. Anyway, right, let's move smartly on. Couple of minutes, the takeaways from today's show. Straight down camera number 1. Introduce, say who you are. The airways are all yours.
Hi, I'm Debbie Huxton and I'm a business coach. I help businesses align themselves to their highest values and purpose. I'd like to ask you a question. If you knew today was your last day on this earth, what would you do differently? And if that was the case, that you would change something because you knew your expiry date, then why aren't you living that life now? Did you wake up today, Monday morning, and feel thrilled about the fact that it was Monday? Or did you wake up thinking about all of the overwhelm you've got ahead of you? If you did, then what are you going to do to change it? Why are you choosing to live a life that is creating that overwhelm? Is it time for you to make a change? And you can make those changes because you have all of those resources, all of those skills inside you to do so. You can start by making a decision. Do you want to make a change? If the answer is yes, then you need to go away and you need to start applying all of the things that you've learned, that you have and that you know about in your life. Go and find yourself a mentor, a coach, somebody that can help you, somebody that can support you, somebody that can guide you to live your fullest potential. Go away and start looking at your self-care and understand that for you to run your business, you need to be at peak performance. If you're not mentally with your head in the game, your business is going to struggle and you are going to suffer. And the most important thing is to understand that you are enough. You can do this. It's been an absolute pleasure to be on the show today. I want to thank you for having me.
No, it's been fantastic having you on the program today. Thank you ever so much indeed. Don't forget, you can subscribe to us simply by pressing this little button here. If you'd like to, on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Maybe you'd like to make a comment after the show as well. That would be fantastic. Please, 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 pretty please, do subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can watch us at businessconnectionslive.com. If you wish, you can go there as well. Are these available to buy?
They are, yes.
You will give you a link on our website to where you can purchase these as well if you'd like to get those. Now, there's only one last little piece. Oh yes, go to businessconnectionslive.com. You can email us at studio@businessconnectionslive.com, or you can give us a call on 01784 256 777. Have a word with myself or Linda Bazant. Talking of Linda Bazant, she's creeping in the studio. She's taking her high heels off today and she's creeping in because behind us, do come into the picture, and because we understand it's your birthday this month. And we thought, wouldn't it be lovely if we could wish you a very happy birthday and get you a birthday cake?
Thank you very much.
21 again.
21 again.
And it's on the 18th, I understand.
It is indeed.
So listen, a very happy birthday from all of us here at Business Connections Live.
Thank you.
Hope you have a lovely time. Can I say it's been an absolute pleasure.
Always.
I think it's healthy to question robustly people who actually are trying to give a difference.
Yes.
Because there are people out there, as we said earlier on, who do the talk,
yes,
but truly can't do the walk.
Yes.
I think we did that today. I hope you've enjoyed it today. It's been an absolute pleasure. As I said, Dan Spicer on the show next week. Debbie Huxton, you have been an amazing, inspirational person on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
The people that have come in have spoken so highly of you.
Thank you.
If you want to find out more, you can go to Debbie's website, of course, debbie-huxton.com. It's as easy and as straightforward as that. If you want more information about Business Connections Live, maybe like a program like this one for your business, you can do that as well. Go to businessconnectionslive.com. But from me, Steve Hyland, that practically wraps up today's show. Till next week, bye for now. Bye-bye.